Hi, welcome to Art of Heart. I'm Marissa Campbell, and I am so excited for my guest today. She is not only one of the dearest friends I have in my life, but she's also an incredible human and has lived 1,000 lives in this wonderful human experience. And today, Tomeaka is going to share two different hearts. A really hard one and a really good one. So, Tamika, welcome. If you'll start by telling the folks a little bit more about who you are, what makes you tick, and then we'll jump into today's first story.
Well, hello. My name is Tomeaka Trahan. I'm going to start adding this MBA because I earned it. I love to give back by using my special, like professional skill sets. I feel like I just like helping people. I like solving problems. Um, I like education. I like educating people. I love to learn. But I like to do it in a fun, quirky way, like everybody's favorite auntie, because the best advice always comes from your favorite auntie that looks cute.
Same, same. We are that. We embody the favorite auntie that looks cute.
Okay, sometimes bad news comes good with a nice plate of food. So that is me in a nutshell. So
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing. We're going to jump into your first story today, and this is the hard.
it was 2019, November 18th. And I got the hardest call I could ever receive in my life. My eldest nephew was shot and killed. Um, it was, whew, um, to this day, it still takes my breath away. It really hits home for the fact that my nephew wasn't just my nephew. I actually had a hand in raising him. Um, at an early age of 16, he was just a baby, and I would walk, get on the bus, get off the bus, take him to daycare, get to school, pick him up after school, feed him, get to work, come home. And I created like a life schedule at the age of 16 with my nephew, because everybody else was working and I was the next mature one to take on that responsibility. And, he called me mom and he always came to me for advice. And so when I got the news that he was no longer here, I I can't say I shut down. I just went cold.
Like
I went
things
cold.
stopped.
Yeah, like not emotionally things. I acknowledged that the responsibilities that I had to take on moving forward from that point on, my emotions could not actually come out. Like I literally had to put them in a box because I said my nephew was the eldest, but he was the eldest of seven. And so when he passed, I moms, grandmothers, nobody was to be found. It was just me being responsible and taking the calls and getting the raising the money, picking out urns. Like I understood that meaning when they said there's no greater pain a parent can ever feel unless they have to bury a child. And I had to take on that task, but then I also had to be responsible.
Hmm.
And I had to trudge through so much. I wasn't able to take time off of work because he was my nephew.
Mm,
So I learned the harsh realities of being an honorary parent to someone.
man, because it doesn't fit in that box that everybody
It does.
thinks,
It
oh,
your life does not, like your emotions, like the tears came out at night. The tears came out during. I actually had a scheduled vacation, and I was out of the country, and my little brother was so in like emotionally. Everybody was able to emotionally go through it. I'm in Thailand in the middle of the night trying to orchestrate somebody to save my little brother's life because he wanted to commit suicide after that. And it also doesn't help that just 17 months prior to that, my oldest brother, my nephew's father died. So there was
Oh
just
my
no help.
gosh.
Like, yeah, so I was like, I felt like I was just coming out of a place because the same honor I had, I call it an honor, the same honor I had to pick up for my nephew, I just completed with my brother. I also had to bury I financially had to bury my brother. I financially had to bury my nephew. They were young, and my brother unfortunately irresponsible, so there was just nothing there. So like I said, the financial responsibility, the I feel like I was put into the matriarch position of my family to step in, um, but I just wanted to cry. Also, the way he passed away, um, I felt responsible for his final actions because I did have a hand in raising him. And I would like to think that all the good parts of him was because of me. And
But
that was
tell
the
me more
biggest
about
question was
but why did you feel that responsibility or that sense
um
of
because my nephew was not a victim. A month prior to his passing, he actually tried to commit suicide over a young lady. His life ended over a girl, and interactions and petty arguments and nasty exchanges between the two. And she pushed buttons, and he was already not in. He's like, it's like he just wasn't in a mental place. And our
right,
last conversation ended in an argument because he knew he needed to leave out of the situation he was in. And me being his auntie, like, come on, baby, like you tell me you're not in a healthy place, you activated me. So I'm ready to go.
right.
I'm ready to go to war. And then he immediately tried to put that, like, no, I'm okay. And I'm like, you're not okay. And that was literally the last conversation I had with him. And then the next
So
call I get was that he passed away. And so yeah, and it's just the reason why I felt not responsible for his death, but in the eyes of the law, he was the instigator. It was
mhm,
justified, but nobody sat in those serious auntie nephew conversations we had where he told me he just really wanted to be the best big brother he can be.
yeah,
That in the fifth grade he took pride in being a kindergarten mentor,
mm,
that he was the captain of his football team, and he was like very, very proud of that. Even talking to his friends after, though, to know he carried that in adulthood. And
mhm.
he died a week before his 21st birthday, so he didn't even get to live. Like, he was just
No.
getting started. So I just didn't like how the last parts of his life was portrayed.
And the
And
thing is, none of that matters because no matter what the circumstances are of his passing, right? The
mhm,
relationship you had with him, you would think about what your heart looked like when you would get on the bus and take him to daycare and through those auntie conversations. And that love that you had with him and for him was so immense, right? No matter what happened in the situation, that doesn't change that love, right?
mhm, of course.
And so when you think about I think sometimes though when we get into the complexities of the human experience, right? Like you have complex feelings about it, right? Like you are deeply sad that that happened. You also have some feelings around what could have been different, right?
Yes,
Or how that last conversation could have gone or whatever. Never knowing, you had no way of knowing, right?
of course.
And so all of these things come into play in the complexities of what your heart looks like after such a tragic experience on top of a tragic experience because of your brother, and then it's like the waves just never stop coming.
And you just go like, Dora, you just gotta just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
So yeah, no. And you asked me how my heart felt. I call it a warped black box with sludge oozing out of its oozing out. And the reason why is because the box, it's warped. Like boxes are supposed to be very the black and white, right? And it's
Mhm.
not. There's rivets, there's pieces hanging out. It's not, it won't fit anywhere, but things are still oozing out. Like the bills still got to get paid. Like
Yeah,
I'm showing up to work, but I'm not showing up to work nice.
yeah.
I'm showing up here, but I'm not showing up. I'm showing up disheveled. I might took a shower. You know
If
what
you're
I mean?
lucky.
Like if you're
Yeah.
lucky, I am coming in survival mode, and it's not pretty. It's warped, it's dark, it's sludgy, it's nasty, it's gunky. Um, but the thing about a box is boxes can be repaired.
Mhm.
So I just repaired the box. But that's how I felt at the time.
So, it's interesting that you bring up, like, that you showed up, but you weren't whole, and you weren't put together, and you weren't probably operating at 100%, and so many times in our human existence, we have to show up even though we don't feel like showing up, and I'm sure it was months and maybe years before you started to show up in a way that box wasn't oozy and gunky in the background to where it
Yeah.
started to repair, but you still showed up.
Yeah. That if because that is one of the biggest life lessons that I am so glad I was taught at an early age. You still got to show up. You still got to show up. You get bad news, but you know it still has to go on. Rent, lights, cable, telephone, car note, car insurance. Like, and then bring the human aspect of it. Don't be a jerk. Like,
Yeah. Just because 'cause you're
so
having
I,
a bad day,
you
don't you
know,
dare go messing up nobody else's. All right,
so
Tab
like,
Brown. Yeah.
but how I did it is I showed up
Mhm.
dark, warped, and oozing. But you know what? I don't I've never really talked to my close ones, but I will say nobody stopped talking to me. So clearly I did
Yeah.
something right.
You did all right, my friend, you did all right.
Like
I love
everybody's
it.
still around.
We didn't lose
I
any
didn't run
stragglers.
nobody off. There is no bigger honor than being the aunt of my brother's children because my nephew, he was a you would say he you could say he's my firstborn. I
Mhm.
was 16 when he was born, and when I say responsible, he laid in the bed with me. I had to figure out how to feed him, what his likes, what his dislikes are, help with his rat. Like he taught me how to be a woman. Like every woman that says my first child taught me how to do this. So he taught me the script of how to talk to his six other siblings and how to just, I feel like with him, every time I just kept getting it right. I just kept getting it right. And I'm not going to
Mhm.
say I got it wrong. I know, I now know I didn't get it wrong with him. I
No.
knew I didn't get it wrong with him when those conversations from his friends, but that took months to hear those conversations, so the first couple of months was that guilt,
Mhm.
that not understanding. Actually, there, so I know, we have these like the different, but there was also an aha moment in there too.
Let's hear it.
My aha moment was, get up and live. And it was because the hardest part to hold on to was my nephew was just 20 years old. And he didn't experience fatherhood. He didn't experience love. lovers, traveling. He never left out of Seattle. Oh no, yeah, no, he's been to like he's just never like swam in the ocean, like things that we like
Yeah.
adult things. Like he didn't experience that, and then I start taking stock in my life, and I realize at my big adult age, there's also things I haven't experienced,
Yeah.
and I'm like, could you imagine Tomeaka, you laying there in your casket and everybody talking about all the things that they wish you, like they're sitting there looking back at you, it's like, man, she never experienced this, they never experienced that. Like having such a limited conversation. Because in a way, everybody had such a limited conversation when it came to my nephew.
And so you look at this story and there's so much here to unpack.
Hmm.
And you talk about the good and that was the honor of your life. Like honor is such a big word, but it's so descriptive of your opportunity to spend his childhood years with him and to be that not just auntie, but to be that mother figure and be the person who nurtured him, right? The nurture is
Hmm.
such a big part of that. And then the brokenness of the loss, but the aha to want to live
Yeah.
and to want to have experiences that he will never have and that you surely do not want to be on the other side of this and be like, "Man, I should have gone and done that. I should have experienced things. I should have lived." Because you could have had the choice, right? To
Yeah.
experience his loss and to retreat in and not continue to live.
Yeah. And I would say, like everything I do every I carry him with me every time I go somewhere, every time I travel, every time like I have his little ashes, like he is with me because it's like my way of making sure that he got a little bit of that as well. Like that's my me still being auntie, making sure like, oh, you didn't
Oh,
experience
yeah.
going to Vegas? Well, we're going to Vegas.
We're gonna
You
live it
didn't
up.
experience like we're about to go. There's some things he can't experience with auntie, so he got to stay behind.
And that's okay too. But, you turn such a tragedy into an adventure and you carry that with you in the most, incredible way, and you're unapologetic about it, and I think that being able to share these stories real truthfully, the good, the hard,
Mhm.
and the aha is part of who we are, you
Yeah.
know?
And I want to say this, so it didn't happen overnight. It took a while for me to be okay with living. But the thing I had to do is acknowledge that it is okay. Like death happens. Death is real. Going be like this is just flesh. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
This is just flesh. And like every other fleshy thing we see, it also has to go. It has
Mhm.
to. So I had to come to grips with that it was okay.
How long did it
And,
take you to realize that it was okay?
oh, you know what? It kind of goes into our next my good.
Don't we
Um
love a good segue? I mean, we pay for these. We pay for these. We love a good segue.
transition. So no, it took I honestly like I still feel guilty sometimes when I do certain things. When I'm trying to become an entrepreneur and um, figuring out like what I want to do and even how that was developed for my life. Like I would sometimes feel guilty about wanting to expand, and also I feel like that's also like kind of like generational curses for me,
Mhm.
is feeling like it's a problem for my growth in certain ways, but I remind myself that I just talk to my nephew. I go inside and I talk to my nephew in a way. I be like, I'm, like, no, like, TT, what are you doing? Get up. That's
Yeah.
not my TT. That's not my TT. So I kind of
Mhm.
like, I go quiet and I hear his voice.
Yeah.
And
And what a
and
gift.
but yeah, but it doesn't. It used to take me a while to really connect to his voice. Now it's getting easier. It's getting
Mhm.
easier. So now I don't call on him for strength. I just call on him so he'll know what I've accomplished.
Mhm.
So,
So cool. Okay, so
gosh,
that transitions into our second heart, which
yeah.
is vibrant and stunning. Let's talk about what happy looks like.
Happy looks like you telling yourself as a little girl that when you buy a house, you're always going to have Halloween parties. And you're not just going to have any Halloween party. You're going to have Halloween parties that look like the Halloween parties on all the 90s movies you used to watch where everybody
Yes.
had red cups. There was
And there
liquor
was
and
spider
food
decorations.
everywhere. There's smoke coming out. There's snacks here. There's candy there. There's decorations. There's red ominous lights. And there's beautiful, beautiful costumes. So, my happy moment was when I was able to decorate my first Halloween party in my first house. And
Man.
I had my cousin who hates coming to Tacoma, but she figured out a way. We realized that she didn't have to get on the freeway. She even came out and she helped me decorate this we taped together like cardboard, painted it, put the little expanding foam. I got like a skeleton body parts, put it on, put it like my house is just in general my good place because I love like sitting back on my couch and I have this big window and I can watch people like look at my house and nobody else's house is on the block get looked at. That's all I'm trying to say.
Because your house
So
is
my
everything.
house is like I love it. It just sitting back and just looking at my hard work and I got it on my own.
Yeah.
Um it was a struggle. It was a struggle, not on my end. Again, aha moment. Sometimes you just can't control everything. All you got to do is know the
Mhm.
rules or regulations that you have to abide by, your terms and conditions, and let God handle it.
Yes.
Everywhere else, just let God handle it. But dear God, I'm here, and so yeah, no, I looked down my dark hallway and I had all these red little candles going down and then I was in my living room and I was like, "Oh, everything is just good." And the food was hitting cuz I can cook. The drinks was
Mhm.
drinking. Everybody was inside the house, outside of the house. My male cousin was hitting on all my cute girlfriends. And everybody's like, "Could you tell him to go away?" But no, because he also brought really great party favors.
A good time was had by
A
all.
good time was had by all. We had a dance
Mhm.
off. And now every year everybody's like, "You're gonna have another party? You're gonna have another
Yeah.
party? What are you gonna do now?" And it's like it feels good because again, I always wanted a house that felt good for people to come to.
Mhm. A home.
A home.
It's not just a house, it's a home.
It's a home. It's not always perfect. There's cat fur here and there in the corner because they're here
Mhm.
and it's their home.
Mhm.
But dear, it's mine. It is
Yeah.
mine. I can paint my room, like I can put everything up on my walls the way I wanted to put it up on my walls, and it just feels like just mine. It feels good. It feels good to have something that is yours. Also, I'm a middle child. And
Mm.
I always had to share and I always had to give and I always had to sacrifice and I've always had to do without. And this is my home. If I do without, it is for me because it's
Mhm.
mine. Everything in here is mine. So if I sacrifice and I got to eat something, it's guaranteed is going towards the house,
Mhm.
which is
But it's
mine.
interesting though because you're one of the most giving humans I've ever met, and you're always the first person to be like, "Okay, I'm coming. What do you need? What can I bring?" Right? You're one of this just this like you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
just
well,
different.
yeah.
And so right, but it's really interesting for you to describe how that being yours feels different for you.
Yeah,
And
because
I'm sure there's safety in right? It's like that's that safe feeling.
yes, when something feels. It don't matter if you what it is. Think about it. When your man don't feel like he's yours, does it feel safe?
No.
When your job doesn't feel secure, like it's yours, does it feel safe?
No.
Name one thing that you can walk into, one situation that you can go into, and you're like, it doesn't feel like I am welcome. That is mine. Like I am a part of it. That you
Mhm.
also feel safe.
Yeah.
And nothing and I also I'm a hard worker. I love just everything in this house is a problem. Everything in it is a problem.
But it's yours. It's your
But
problem,
it's
and now you get to fix
mine.
it. Gosh, it's so like, I love having I live in a tiny house, right? And
Mhm.
I love having people over, and I have a huge family, and most of the time when one of them is here, there's a bunch of people here and there's no room to move, but I don't care because I like having all my people here.
Yeah,
And
because you made it a
there's
home.
right, and there's dust in the corner. When I was setting up the podcast studio, there's dust bunnies on
Like,
the
how'd you
floor, but
get
I'm
there?
doing
Like,
my
it's
best.
just me in this house.
Right, like, how did that happen, right? But it's my home, and it's safe, and so I wanna take back to how did your heart feel when you were throwing the Halloween party?
Like red and blue dancing together under a fire. Like, so I have these colors in my I have all these different colored lights in my house. And
Mhm.
so there was this so in the living room I can have like the Sonos. Shout out to IKEA.
Hey.
And I have a multicolor. So I had blue going on there. I had another light that in the hallway that was red, and they were just dancing with each other. And then and I was I also think I was drunk. I don't know. I just
Yes.
felt like I was the colors. I was no
Yeah.
longer Tomeaka. I was the colors, and it just felt like a phoenix rising, like fire. Because
Yes.
before that, let me tell you, putting that party together, one thing I feel like you'll hear any like people hate working with me. I'm really fun until it's time to get to work. And then it's like my best friend's like, it's like winning a free vacation. And here you are having a really great time. You're drinking, you're dancing, you're meeting people. And then all of a sudden, you go into a room and shit gets real, right? Because you're buying a timeshare. Tamika, you're like that. How did it get so real? Why is it
Mhm.
so uniform? Why does everybody have a job to do?
And
And
for the
why
record, I have
I
worked with you, so
micromanage?
I know that to be true. It gets real, real, real all
It
fun
gets
party
real,
games,
real,
laughing,
real quick. I was like,
knock it off.
what happened to the smile? What happened to the laugh? Then I was like,
No.
look here. I tell people I'm Mickey on the weekends, but I'm Tamika on the weekdays and
Yes.
on overtime.
Mhm. And double overtime because we all know you
Double
have
overtime.
65 jobs just like me, yeah.
Okay. So
Oh
no,
my
like
gosh.
I just felt so now I try to do little parties all the time, no matter what. I just let me cook, like on the stoop or like everything. I realize like my home is super dope when there's people in there. It makes me feel like dancing red and blue
Mhm.
flames.
Like dancing red and blue flames.
Yeah.
It's so, it's so cool to hear you share your stories and to hear you create this visual language, right? Because when you tell the story of like, "Oh, one of my good moments is a Halloween party." That doesn't quite describe what happens, right? That doesn't not quite the same as like this experience of having a home that is yours, that is safe,
Mhm.
that you welcome others into, and you care for them. And that creates this red and blue flame that is vibrant and dancing and
Yeah.
embodies you and is not just this thing
And
that beats inside your chest.
it makes different types of purple depending on, how much red and how much blue. It just becomes alchemy. It becomes something else. It becomes something bigger.
Yes,
That's
it
what
becomes something bigger.
your home is supposed to create something bigger than just four walls and a roof that can possibly leak.
Mhm.
My roof ain't leaking. We're good.
Thank goodness, because if not, we'd have more things that need fixing.
A tooth
So, as
gonna
you
go up
th
on there.
So as you think about your life and we've talked about the hard, we've talked about the good, and we've talked about the ahas. Any piece of advice that you would want to share with people?
Breathe.
Mhm.
Um, Not everything is about you. If you're sitting, no, I don't want to say not everything is about you, because sometimes everything is about you, but you're not always. Sometimes you are the culprit of your own unhappiness. So you sit, like, if while you're sitting there sulking, and while you're sitting there pouting, and while you're also think about how much time you're sitting and investing in that sad space, because that
Mhm.
is the older you get, you have more time behind you than you have ahead of you, and then you're going to get to a point where every minute actually counts, and then you're going to go back to all the minutes you spent trying to figure out if you were the victim of the situation or not. And
Mhm.
I've set back plenty of unhealthy times, um, thinking about things that, like, honestly, it didn't benefit me. There was no benefit in those it didn't benefit. It just gave me something else to survive.
Yeah.
And it was me. Like, it was me. I'm the bad guy. Like,
I'm the problem, it's
because,
me,
like,
always.
I'm the drama. Like, why did I put so much into those thoughts? Like, just I've learned how to assess a situation. For example, I dropped my phone in the lake, and I was on a paddleboard in the middle of a lake. And here I am, my phone is flipping like a fish, and I'm leaning back trying to get the phone. And I realize, what am I doing?
It's a
I
phone.
have insurance. It's not my keys. It's not my wallet. It's not anything that I can't replace.
Where was Toot?
Let it
Was she
go.
on the board?
Girl, no, I left Toot at the house.
Okay, okay,
You see,
okay,
but
okay.
Toot will always be protected. Toot has a life. Only reason why she didn't go is I could not find her life jacket. But Toot would have been, she would have been fine. Baby girl, we would have, she would have been good. Toot is my dog.
One of the cutest little dogs you have ever seen, so we just have to make sure Toot is okay. But yeah, like, it's insured, it doesn't matter, like, let it go, it's okay.
It doesn't matter. And I was like, do I have anything important to handle right now? No. I think because my niece asked me for some money, and she's like, could you send me some money real quick? And I did that. And I was like, everything is fine. And if my ADT goes off, the police got it. Like, I was like, why am I tripping? And if in reality, like, it's that was a Saturday, on a Monday, I actually was kind of perturbed that I was getting the phone. I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta go back to a phone." But I realized I
Terrible.
couldn't even sign into work without my phone. Like, how dare you? You can't even go order food now. You have like,
Do anything.
who wants to be on their phone all the time?
Mhm. But it could
Just
have
let it
ruined your
go.
whole it could have ruined your
Whole
whole
day,
rest of your day, but instead you were
whole
like,
day.
"Well, nice knowing you, phone."
And I ain't gonna hold you. I literally, I could have, but then I would have went into the water. And I'm like,
Oh.
I'm too big for all this. Like, it's I can't do this.
Mhm.
It's not worth it. It just, oh, young people, um, that whole thing of make your mistakes. There are some mistakes you cannot bounce back from. Do your research, especially when you can do your research. If it's a researchable moment, if you can find mentors, if you can reach out to a pearl, I call them pearls, find your pearl. Um, do so. Don't just, I hate it when you're watching those videos like, oh, I think this is going to fail, and they're bleaching their hair, and then all of a sudden 30 minutes later they're crying because their hair fell out. Like, what are you looking for? Like, what like,
What was the point?
that
Yeah.
was not the, you could have wasted your time doing something else. You could have researched, and you would have still had your hair.
And you would not be crying because it's gonna take you 10 years for that hair to grow back.
Yeah, and then now you're always gonna be, oh, I now it's like a bad, it's something bad. It's something bad now stuck into your head. It's a trauma. Like, that's why I
Yeah.
say, like, you don't just I think, that goes for everybody, but mostly young people, because I feel like we teach young people to make mistakes. And I'm like, stop telling them that. Like, not
Life would
when
be a
they
lot
have Google
easier.
Scholar and now there's
Right.
AI. Like,
Get Chat GPT and be like, "Is this going to ruin the
oh,
rest of my life?"
don't get me started.
No, it
It's
was
gonna
so
be so
funny.
horrible.
So last night I was at Melissa Etheridge, which was my first concert ever, and then I got to see her last night, which was awesome. But was talked about. She's like, "Oh, I grew up, in the '80s and the '90s," and she's like, "And we did all kinds of fun things, and there was no proof." And I was like, "Thank you. I appreciate the
Thank
time
you.
I was born because there was no proof." Um, but anyway, thank you so much for Oh, Toot makes an appearance, everybody.
We
This is
did.
Toot. Man, do we love Toot.
She heard her name one too many times. This is
She's
two.
like she's like, "Let me come see what's going on." All right, well, we'll let you get back to being a good Toot mom, and,
Yes,
thank you so much for sharing your stories with us, and the time has been wonderful, and for sharing your hearts.
Ashe. And release.
I've always been scared to commit. It's a Freudian slip, and I don't have it all figured out. Ain't about money, it's about the message. We even argue to question the blessing. It's your heart of heart. Set yourself apart. You're a superstar. When are you gonna start? Listen to your heart.